what we have learned. We have, yeah. Any doubt? Any? Okay, fine. Guys, can please mute yourself and just unmute if you have any doubt. Okay. So in the last class, we have learned about what is cloud and cloud computing. So cloud is nothing but accessing remote servers hosted in a uh, internet. We are not accessing our computer. We are accessing basically someone else's computer on pay as you go model and on demand. So on demand means whenever I want a service, I can opt for it. Whenever I don't want a service, I can just discontinue using it. That is on demand. And pay as you go, how, like, you just need to pay for a service which you use, right? So that is the only payment you need to do. And then we understood how to make a account in cloud. That is what we have understood. So we need to go to portal.azure.com, make an account after that. So others, did you already make your account in cloud?
Yeah, I've created one account.
Okay, fine. So after that, we need to create a resource group, and then under resource group, we will create a resource. So, and we have learned how to create a storage account. And a storage account has 4 types. What are those? Either you choose to create a data lake Gen 2 or a blob storage or a file service, queue service, and table service. File service is a service where you store large file and share large file. Queue storage is to handle messages, and table storage for the NoSQL database. So these two service anyways is not so important for us because we will not use that in our projects 95% of the time. So we will basically focus on data lake storage or a blob storage. Now, others, can you help me to understand what is the difference between a data lake storage and a blob storage?
In data lake storage, the files are stored in hierarchical fashion.
Hmm.
Blob storage, there's no hierarchy.
Hmm.
And then blob storage is a much cheaper option compared to data lake Gen 2.
Hmm.
And then data lake Gen 2 also provides file level, security access
Uh,
control.
yeah. So you are absolutely right that in data lake storage, we can store the data in a directory inside a container, which we cannot do in the blob storage. Also, in the data lake storage, we can share our file. We can manage ACL, access control list, that we can manage in data lake storage. Like on the file level as well, you can manage permission that you can do in data lake storage, which you cannot do in the blob storage. That is what we have seen. Yeah. Now, then after that, we have went to the data factory, and it is very, very important interview question. So please remember this question if you are going for an interview. Then we have gone through the data factory. Okay. So what is data factory? Moni, can you help me to understand what is data factory from the revision, from the classes which we had already? What is data factory? And why do we use data factory? Moni, can you help me to understand that?
Data factory is nothing but it is connection between our computer machine to cloud services.
Computer machines to cloud services.
Yeah.
Nothing but means like beside connecting to your suppose
On-premises.
if you have the data all in cloud, then you will not use data factory in that case.
How do I work that?
Suppose if you have data in the cloud, then you will not use suppose your data is there in the S3 bucket or anywhere in the cloud, then you will not use data factory in that case, or you will use data factory.
Yeah, I will use the data factory.
You will use data factory, right? So we cannot
Yeah.
say that data factory is only for that, right? Am I
Yeah.
correct? So
Yes, yes.
can you tell me what is uh, what is data factory? Why do you use data factory first of all?
Why do I use this data factory?
Yeah, why do we use data factory? Why it is important to learn data factory?
It is connection between on-premises service to cloud.
Okay. Others, can you help me to answer this question?
It allows you to kind of integrate systems to move data between on-prem and cloud systems.
Hmm.
And it's also used, I guess, for data integration solutions for ingesting, preparing, and transforming, all data as per the scale.
Okay, understood. Others, can you help? Can you give this answer?
Yeah, I mean, Data Factory is an orchestration tool provided by Azure.
Hmm.
So in that, it helps you to move the data from the one source to another. I mean, if there's a database and it has to move to another storage, so we can load the data into the database, and then it provides a no code UI.
Mm-hmm.
You can just
Okay.
drag and drops uh, the
Yeah. Okay. So mainly, basically, Data Factory is being used to move the data from one point to another. Your one point to another means it helps you to move the data from source to destination. Source can be on-premise, source can be cloud. So suppose in the requirement, someone tells you that, hey, Monipuspa, can you move the data from S3 bucket or from a drive or from any cloud service to Azure environment? Then also you can use Data Factory. So Data Factory is being used to move the data from one point to another. It is not necessarily that your one point should be on-premise. It can be anything. So Data Factory is being used for that, first of all. And second of all, it is being used to create whole end-to-end pipeline. After moving the data, if you want to do some transformation on that data, then also you can use Data Factory to basically orchestrate that. So it is a end-to-end process which you can do in Data Factory, not necessarily only on premise or anything of that sort. And here you don't need to code. Everything is like no code UI. It offers you a no code UI basically. Okay, understood. Now today we will understand what is a link service and what is integration runtime. So SZ, do you know about it? What is that? Because I already taught you. Do you remember that? And then I will try to explain that. Yeah. Any understanding of that, AZ? Can you help me to understand that?
Sorry, I was in a meeting. So yes, it is much like connection strings, which define the connection information, basically that are needed to connect. So these linked services are services that connect, basically, the requesters for orchestrations.
Okay. Okay, fine. Let's try to understand what is link service and integration runtime. So I will open my slide now. Yeah. So we have made this blob storage. Now to move the data from one point to another, which is by using Data Factory, we need a connection, right? So whenever a particular vehicle is suppose moving a luggage from, suppose I am shifting myself from Germany to, suppose I am currently living in SN, then I want to move myself to Berlin. So I need a particular vehicle. I will call my taxi driver, and then I will say that, hey, this is my home address and this is my Berlin address. Now help me to move the data. Help me to move my luggage. Similar to that, Data Factory needs to have a connection to the source, and Data Factory needs to have the connection with the data lake. Then only Data Factory can go to the source, take the data, and data factory can go to the destination and then dump the data, right? So to basically make the connection, we need two things. First, we need an integration runtime, and second, we need a link service. So in data factory, whenever you do any kind of thing, you need to think about two things, which is first integration runtime and second is link service. Now we will understand what is integration runtime, which comes first, and then comes a link service. Okay. So integration runtime. What is integration runtime? So there are mainly three kinds of integration runtime. What are those? Let's see that. So there are three kinds of integration runtime: Azure default integration runtime, Azure self-hosted integration runtime, and then SSIS. Azure default integration runtime is a runtime which you will use to connect with the cloud service. No matter cloud service, so some people has a confusion that Abhishek, by using this default integration runtime, we can connect with only Azure cloud. No, you can connect with any kind of cloud, Amazon S3 bucket or GCP cloud. You can connect with any of the cloud by using Azure default integration runtime. Why do we call it as a default integration runtime? Because once you make your space, once you make your data factory space, it is already there running and it is monitored and managed by Azure itself. You don't need to manage it. You don't need to care about it. It will be already there created and it will be managed by Azure. This is an integration runtime you will use whenever you want to fetch the data by any of the cloud service. Okay. Now, the second integration runtime is self-hosted integration runtime. What is self-hosted integration runtime? Whenever you want to fetch the data with from any of the on-premise server. On-premise server means my computer, AZ computer, others computer, or any of the system which is not there in the cloud. You will use a self-hosted integration runtime in that case. SSIS is integration runtime you will use to fetch the data. To import the SSIS package, you will use the SSIS integration runtime. I haven't used SSIS integration runtime till now in any of my company, but like it is less used, but you should know about it. And this question is also very, very important for your interview. What is integration runtime? Okay. Now let's go over here. So this integration runtime, we understood that whenever you want to connect with cloud service. So suppose just now we made a connection with we make a blob storage, right? So we already made a blob storage. Now if you want to connect with the blob storage, you will use this integration runtime. Okay. Now let's understand what is self-hosted integration runtime. So whenever you want to connect with any of the on-premise service, so suppose if you want to connect with my computer, which is like my own computer, then you will use a self-hosted integration runtime. Okay. And how do you use the self-hosted integration runtime? You need to create a self-hosted integration runtime. So you can click new, you can click continue, you can click on self-hosted, you can click continue. And then here you can write my computer. Okay. And then you can hit create. And then you can click over here. And then you can go and download this integration runtime. And this is the integration runtime. Like this link is not getting generated directly from here. It is a default link. Everybody can use it. So you can hit next. And then this integration runtime will be downloaded over here. I'm not downloading it right now because my computer hangs after I download it. So I'm not downloading it, but you can download it. And then what you need to do after you download it, I will show you now. So all of that we have done already. This we have done. Then once you run this particular installer, right, this kind of space will come. And what you can do, you can copy this and paste this in this space. Okay. And then click register. Once you click register, then integration runtime will start. So you will see this integration runtime running. This is unavailable because I haven't registered that key. and which key you can use both of the key. Okay, so this key as well, this key as well, you can use both of the key for authenticating. Now you can ask me that, Abhishek, why there's two key? I don't know why there's two key, because I feel it can be done by using only one key. So I don't know why they have provided two key, but you can use any of the key to basically copy and register your integration runtime. Once you register your integration runtime, then it is all done. Then you can communicate with your computer. Okay, so let me open Paint and make a particular diagram for it so that you can understand in a better way. So suppose this is data lake. Okay, this is Azure data lake. Now this is my computer. Okay, this is my computer, and in my computer I have installed a MS SQL on premise. Okay, so here I do have a SQL server on premise, MS SQL on premise. Okay, now I want to fetch the data using Data Factory. That is what I want to do. So using ADF, I want to take the data from MS SQL and I want to load the data to Azure Data Lake. That is what I want to do. Okay, now we have understood that we need to make a connection to data lake first by using what? By using first integration runtime. Which integration runtime? Auto resolve integration runtime. Okay, this integration runtime. Now to make a connection with my computer, what we will do? We will install a software in this computer. Which software? Self-hosted IR will install. Self-hosted IR we will install here. Okay, and then ADF will basically communicate with self-hosted IR, and then self-hosted IR will communicate with this and then help us to fetch the data. Now you can again ask me that, Abhishek, how self-hosted IR, because my MS SQL will definitely have an ID and password, just like every system has an ID and password. So how self-hosted IR will communicate with this? Because you till now haven't mentioned anywhere the ID and password for MS SQL. Then here comes your link service. Okay, so what link service will do? I will go and show you how we can create a link service. So first of all, I will create a link service. So here you will select SQL. Like for MS SQL, you can select SQL, and then you will select the SQL server, click continue, and then here you will select your my computer auto resolve, my computer integration runtime. Then you will paste a server name, database name, username, and password of your computer, not PIN, only password of your computer, and then your test connection. So here you will mention your user ID, password, database name, all the credentials, so that your integration runtime can communicate with MS SQL on premise. Okay, I will show you how you can make a link service for your data lake. So you can go search data lake. It is very simple. Okay, so you just need to select data lake. If you want to make a connection for blob storage, you need to select blob storage. Okay, so I'm selecting data lake over here. Click continue. Then auto resolve integration runtime over here. Then your storage account, like whatever storage account which you have created, and then you can test connection. Okay, see, connection successful. Okay, so this is how you will make a connection. Once you make a link service, so here also you make a link service so that you can authenticate link service. This is link service. So let me just make it like this is your link service, and here also you make a link service. Okay, once you resolve the integration runtime, once you make a integration runtime, this is the integration runtime. Sorry. Okay, so ADF will first interact with integration runtime, then integration runtime use the credential of the link service and basically fetch the data. ADF will first use this integration runtime, the integration runtime will fetch the credential from the link service which you have made and then fetch the data from here. So once ADF establish the connection by using link service for both of the system, ADF can directly go over here, take the data, dump it to over here. Okay, this is how ADF can work. Any confusion on this, guys, by making linked service and integration runtime? And also it is very, very, very important topic. So if any confusion is there, please let me know so that I can clarify that now, because it is important for your job. It is important for your interview. Both of the things are important. So let me know if you have any doubt. If not, then I will move forward. But if there is a doubt, please let me know now so that we can just I can just clarify it now. Yeah.
So in a nutshell, ADF is a connection pipeline between my computer, which basically is hosted in on-prem, and Azure environment, which is like the data lake. It can be blob storage or any other storages. Am
Yeah,
I correct?
yeah. Yeah, it is a connection because data factory doesn't carry your data. Okay, what data factory will do? Data factory will go to the system, fetch the data, move it. Okay, so when you move your luggage, when I was moving my luggage from Berlin to Frankfurt, the particular the truck doesn't, like, it actually carries the data, but it is not a storage mechanism. So data factory doesn't store your data. It just go to the system, take the data, move it. Okay, so but data factory is a storage mechanism. No, data factory doesn't store the data. It just helps to move the data from one point to another. And in data factory you can make the connection, just like in when you go to one point to another in Uber, you write your address, right? So similar to that, in data factory we are making an address. This is the address of SQL Server. This is the address of a data lake. Then by using this address, it will go to this, it will go to this, and then it will go to this to basically move the data. That is what it will happen. Okay. Yeah, so there just to conclude, there are three kinds of integration runtime. One is self-hosted integration runtime, which we will use to move the data from any of the on-premise server, which is not in the cloud. Then we will use an auto-resolve integration runtime to move the data from the cloud service, and then we will make a link service. Like once we install the particular thing, then we'll make a link service to basically connect to that server, and then we will move the data. Okay, that is what will happen, right? Yeah. So others, do you have any confusion on that? Or Mauni Pushpa, do you have any confusion on that?
I mean,
Yeah.
the integration runtime, you told about integration runtime, right? Like, is it a linking mechanism?
Yes.
Okay, it just links to the source as well as the sink, right?
Yes.
Okay. And what about the linked service? I mean, I didn't get the difference between link service and integration runtime.
So suppose here in my computer, I have MS SQL, on-premise MS SQL. Okay.
Okay.
Now, when you install an integration runtime, so what I have done in my computer, I will install integration runtime. Okay. And I will install integration runtime and I will authenticate so that ADF can communicate with self-hosted integration runtime, right?
Okay.
This is done. This is done. Okay.
Hmm.
Now my MS SQL has a database name, and also it has a ID, it has a username, it has a password, right?
Yeah.
My MS SQL. So how integration runtime can authenticate to use that MS SQL? The integration runtime doesn't know the password and credential for it, right? So integration runtime is the source to reach out to your server, but in the server there are multiple data sources can be there, right? So suppose in my computer, I have MS SQL, I have PostgreSQL, I have many database in my system itself, in my own computer. Once the ADF reach out to that server, after that integration runtime needs a credential to reach out to different data sources, suppose PostgreSQL, MS SQL, anything in that server. So in the link service, you'll provide a credential of that server basically. So suppose over here, now if I type PostgreSQL, so what you can do, you can select PostgreSQL, and then you will mention your same integration runtime, and you provide your server name, database name, username for PostgreSQL, not for MS SQL, because MS SQL has a different link service. So integration runtime helps you to reach out to server, but after it reach out to server, it has a multiple like sources over there. So to reach out to that, you need a link service, you need the authentication, so that integration runtime can communicate with that particular servers, whatever is there basically.
Okay, got it. It acts as a authentication service, the link
Yeah,
server.
it acts as the authentication service to that server basically. So let me just remove it. So here in your computer, this is my computer, and in my computer I have multiple server. Okay, so I have MS SQL, and then I have PostgreSQL. Sorry, I just made the same diagram. I have PostgreSQL, and then you said that Abhishek, I do have C drive. I want to fetch data from C drive. Okay, all of that you have. Then what you have done, you install integration runtime. What you have done, you install integration runtime, and then ADF, your ADF, which is there, ADF. What ADF will do? ADF will communicate with this integration runtime. So ADF will go to this integration runtime and ask, hey, integration runtime, can you fetch the data from C drive? Then integration runtime will say that, hey, where you have credential to log into this C drive? I don't have a credential. Then he will use link service credential to log in. Then ADF will say, hey, can you give me the data from MS SQL? Then integration runtime will go to MS SQL, but it doesn't have a credential. Then it will use the credential for link service to authenticate and enter that. So this is how it will go basically.
Okay, it's clear.
Now, if it is clear, then I will confuse you guys now by asking question. So now suppose what Moni has done, Moni has made a data lake. Okay. So here Moni created a data lake. Okay. And then what Moni wants to do, I have my computer, I have others computer, and we do have AZ computer. Okay. So we have 3 servers basically. Okay. One is Abhishek's computer, and then we have AZ computer, and then we have others computer. Okay. Now what Moni has created, so in my computer, in Abhishek computer, I have MS SQL. Okay. I have MS SQL over here. And over here, I do have a PostgreSQL as well. Suppose, for example, I do have PostgreSQL. Okay. Now, AZ said that, hey, Abhishek, I haven't, this is my new laptop. I haven't installed any server or anything of that sort. I do have C drive in my computer, normal C drive. Okay. So AZ said that, hey, I do have C drive. Others also said, I do have MS SQL, and I do have some data in C drive as well. C drive and MS SQL. Okay. Now, what Moni want to do? Moni said that, hey, I am a new B in your class. I recently joined your class, but I am interested in to pull in all the data you guys have in PostgreSQL, in MS SQL, in C drive, in MS SQL to my data lake. That is what I want to do. I want to pull in the data, all the data, whatever data you have in all the sources to my data lake. That is what I want to do. Data lake. And how I want to do? By using Data Factory. I will use Data Factory over here to do all of the tasks because I know Data Factory. I learned Data Factory right now. Now I want to understand, and one by one you think about it, that here I want to understand how many integration runtime we need. First question is how many integration runtime we need over here to basically satisfy this requirement, and how many link service we need in Data Factory. And this ADF is Moni Pushpa ADF. Okay, this is Moni Pushpa ADF. So Moni Pushpa needs to understand how many integration runtime she needs and how many link service she needs to basically satisfy this requirement. Okay, so this is the question. Now take some time, note down your answer, and then one by one I will ask to everyone that what do you feel about it. Okay, so don't be in hurry to answer this question because it is not so easy. Think about it, write down, and then in 2 minutes I will ask you this question. Okay, so think about it now. Yeah.
Abhishek, the C drive also acts as a database.
Yeah, so suppose if you want to fetch the data using from C drive, you need to make a separate link service, which is a file store link service. File system link service. So if you use this link service, you can mention your host as a C drive over here, then username and password of your computer. So for that, you need to make a separate link service.
Okay. Abhishek, could you go to that window?
Sorry.
Abhishek, I just have one doubt.
Hmm.
Does data lake, I mean, does it also have username and password, just like databases?
Yeah, so data lake also has a username and password which you can enter. So if I go to link service, suppose this is a link service which I created, right? Just now we created link service. So if I open that, this has a username, URL and account key. Okay. Like
Okay.
URL and account key, which you can directly get from the subscription, but you can enter manually as well if you want to.
Mhm. Could you go to that window?
Let me know, guys, once you're ready. Okay.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Yeah. What is your answer? One by one, let's go. So to fetch the data from Abhishek's computer, how many integration do you need and how many link service do you need? Yeah, let me know.
For Abhishek computer, I need one integration runtime and
Let
two
me
link service.
one second,
Shall I
Moni.
start?
Yeah, let me let others answer and then we'll continue one by one. We go to for everyone. Okay. Yeah,
Okay.
others, please let me know. Yeah, others.
Yeah. From Abhishek, it is one link service. I mean, two link service and one integration runtime.
Okay. And for AZ?
For Z, it is one integration service and one link service.
Hmm.
And
And
then
for
for
others?
others, it is two link services and one integration runtime.
And for Moni?
Moni, one
I've seen
integration.
1 second. Yeah, Moni, 1 second. Yeah. But means
It's
Moni's
one.
computer. Yeah.
It's one integration and one linked.
Okay, understood. Now, can you help me to understand the process? So, in Moni, suppose Moni just opened her laptop in her data factory. She opened. Now, how you will install the integration runtime in Abhishek's computer, in AZ computer, in others' computer? How do you do that?
You mean installing the
Yeah,
integration runtime?
yeah, yes.
Do you mean the process of installation?
The process, like first you will go to the link and install the integration runtime in Abhishek's, like how you will approach it. That is what I'm asking.
Okay.
Yeah. So
First,
suppose this is Moni. Okay. So I opened the Moni's ADF. So I will go to integration runtime. I will click on ADF integration runtime. I'll continue. Then this self-hosted integration runtime. This is the link. Okay. So what I will do, I will create this and then this is the link. Okay. So what you will do, this integration runtime, you will install in your computer or you will install in AZ computer or others computer. How do you do it? Or you do it 3 times. How do you do that?
for each computer, you have to install it separately.
And for each computer, there will be a separate like ID. Okay, so first you will install the integration runtime in Abhishek's computer, provide the ID to Abhishek so that Abhishek can authenticate. Okay, and then AZ will authenticate and then others will authenticate. Okay, understood. Yeah, now Moni, can you answer your question? What is your answer? How many integration runtime you will use in Abhishek's computer?
I need one integration runtime and two link service for one MS SQL and one PostgreSQL. And in this computer, I need one integration runtime and one and one link service for file service, file link services. And other computer, I need one integration runtime and two link services. And for my computer, I need one integration runtime.
Okay, understood. Now, AZ, what is your answer?
Sorry, I
Hello,
was
AZ.
in a mute. So from this diagram, I would go to Abhishek's with one LinkedIn, integration and two LinkedIn, and the same for Easy, one integration and one LinkedIn, LinkedIn integration. For Adrash device, definitely I would go with one integration and one linked. For Moni, so that's where so for Moni, I guess I would go with one. That's what I'm thinking. One integration only.
Okay, so all of the answer which you guys have given is correct. What others has given is correct. What AZ has given, for what Moni has said is correct. So basically, for each server, for Abhishek server, for AZ server, for other server, and for Moni server, we need integration runtime. So there will be 4 integration runtime altogether.
Okay.
3 is self-hosted integration runtime, 1 is auto-resolve integration runtime. Then how many link service we need? 1 for Postgres, 1 for MS SQL, 1 for C drive 3, then again C drive 4, then again MS SQL 5, and then again data lake 6. So total 6 integration runtime. And how many integration? Sorry, 6 link service and how many integration runtime? 4 integration runtime for 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So this is the answer, and I'm happy that you understood this question and it is clear. So we can move forward now. I guess it is clear for all now. Yeah. Any confusion on this, guys, or any cross question, or it is all clear?
For mm, our personal, I mean, computers, it is self-integration, hosted integration content, right?
Yes, yes.
And for this side, I mean, for data lake,
Hmm.
it is auto resolved.
Yeah. For
Why
data
is
lake, so this is a cloud, right? So data lake is a cloud. Suppose I say that Abhishek say that, hey, I want to fetch the data from the drive. Okay, Abhishek said that I do have a drive, guys. I don't want to, I'm not outdated like you others. I store all my data in the drive. Okay, I am already a cloud guy. So then here also you will use an auto resolve integration runtime because data is there in the cloud. You will not use a self-hosted integration runtime in that case. You will use the data, or you will use a drive connection that you will use an auto resolve integration runtime in that case, basically.
okay?
Okay, so Abhishek, suppose that I change the requirement. So Abhishek say that I am not using anything of that sort. I am using a SU data lake. I do have a data lake. You fetch the data from my data lake. So what Moni will do, Moni will make a connection. What Moni will do, Moni will you go and make a link service directly because she can use auto resolve integration runtime, right? So data lake, she will write data lake. And then here Moni will use auto resolve integration runtime and then enter manually. And then in the URL, Moni will enter Abhishek's, like my particular data lake and my particular storage key, and then she will test the connection. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, guys.
Quick question. If you could go back to the diagram.
Yeah.
So we have like 6 linked services, and for integration runtime.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 link service. 1, 2, 3, 4 integration runtime. Yes.
Okay, which one is the 6th one for the linked services?
Link service is 1 second. Let me try
because
to.
somehow I got 5. Maybe I might.
This is the one.
Okay.
This is second. This is third. This is 4. This is 5. And for Moni, this is 6.
Yeah, I somehow.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
Thank
for
you.
integration runtime, this is 1.
Yeah.
This is 2.
Yeah.
This is 3. And this is 4.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, guys. Pretty clear. Now, once we know how to make a connection, let's understand how to fetch the data. Okay. So to fetch the data, there are 3 things which is very crucial. What are those? First is pipeline, second is data set, third is activity. Okay, so we'll understand all of that. What is pipeline? Pipeline is nothing but the end-to-end process which you want to create. That is pipeline. Okay. What is data set? Data set is nothing but let's understand. Let's make a simple pipeline and then we'll understand all of this. So first, what I'm trying to do right now. I will upload few dataset over here. Okay, now what I want to do, I want to move the data, this CSV file, I want to move to a different container over here. That is what I want to do. So in this particular case, I want to move the data from one container to another container, but the source is same. So I need only link service, one link service, right? One link service, one integration runtime, because source is same. Just I want to move from one point to another, one container to another container. Okay. So I'm creating a pipeline for that. I will paste a copy data activity. I am pasting a copy data activity over here because I want to copy the data from one point to another, right? So here I will make a link service. I will make a data set. So if you see, I'm making a data set. Okay. So here I will write that I want to move the data from a data lake. Okay. Data lake CSV file I want to move, and then I will use this link service. I will browse. So probably for that particular thing, I don't have a link service for that source. Okay, so I will create a new link service, and my data is present in which link service? Here is my data present, right? So I will make a link service for this one. So I will select this particular thing, and here also I will write ls and then this one. Okay, test connection, create. Done. Now, once I create a link service, I will mention that this is the data set, department data set, and I will now browse. Go to the delta. So if you see, now I'm able to browse, right? I am able to select. So I've selected this and clicked OK. Now I will go to the sync. Okay. Data lake. Then again, I want to move to the data lake CSV file link services. This one, right? Okay. So this one, and then here I will write where I want to move it. Suppose I want to move it to the output path, output, and name of the file is department.csv. This is how I want to name it, department out.csv. And this particular path is not there. So Data Factory will create it basically and then move it. Okay. And import schema is none. Always we need to select import schema as none. Why? Because the file is not there. How it will import the schema? We will go through all those details in the second class. Currently, our focus is to understand what is pipeline, what is activity, and what is data set. Okay, that is what we're focusing on right now. So if you see, this is the pipeline which I have created. Okay, what is the pipeline of the pipeline? The purpose of the pipeline is to move the data from input container to output container. I have used a activity. What is the activity? Copy activity I have used. So in one pipeline, there can be multiple activity. There can be one more copy data activity. There can be multiple activity. So pipeline is end-to-end process, end-to-end task which you want to do. What is the purpose? Activity is a one activity which you need to basically perform a small purpose. Okay, so small purpose is to copy the pipeline. Okay. What is data set? So once you make a link service, you need to inform that this is where your data is located, right? Once you make a link service, you need to inform that this is where your data is located. And this is the data which I want to move. So once you make a connection, of the C drive, you still need to tell Data Factory that, hey, I want to take department CSV from C drive or employee CSV from C drive. That is what data set will tell. Where your data is located, what is the reference point of the data? That is what data set will tell. Okay, so data set is a reference point of the data. Does data set will store the data? No, data set is a reference point of the data. Data set is not a data. So sometimes in the beginning, I do have a confusion that data set stores the data, but data set doesn't store the data. Data set is a reference point of where data is located. So if you open the source, it is telling you that this is the reference point. This is the data which you need to move. And in the sync, you are telling this is where you need to move it. This is where you need to move it. Okay, so as simple as that. This is the pipeline. These are the two data set, and this is the activity. Now I'm running it to show you that. Done. Now if I open it, now if I refresh it, see in the output container, our pipeline came, our file came. Okay. So this is how we can move the data from one point to another, and this is how you can use the link service and integration runtime. Now homework. What is the homework? Homework will be 1 second, let me reply to, because I do have a class is 5. What is the homework? First, make the link service for blob container which you have made. Then make a link service for data lake. Okay. Then try to move the data from input to output container in data lake. In the input container, you can directly upload the data, right? I have already given you a sample file, a link. Already I have given a link to you guys that from which you can use the sample file. Okay. And where is that link? Yeah, this is the link which I have given you guys. This is the link. Okay. Input to output container, move the data from input to output container in blob. Okay. And then fourth is move the data from blob to data lake. That also you can do. Then fifth is install MS SQL in your computer, and SSMS. Okay. And how to install it? Like I suggest not to directly go and install, just watch a YouTube video to basically install your server. MS SQL. Oh, sorry. Yeah, so you can use this link. Then make a link service for MS SQL. Okay, so these are the things you guys need to complete till tomorrow, and then we'll connect tomorrow then. Okay. At the same time, 4 p.m. IST, 4 p.m. German time. Okay.
Friday or Saturday?
Friday, tomorrow. Okay. Yeah, guys. So see you then, and then let's discuss tomorrow, and make sure they complete the homework before the class. Okay. See you. I need to jump on a second meeting, so see you guys. Bye.
Yeah, see you. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.